Hello, everyone, and welcome back to your favorite podcast. It's called Stop the Internet Podcast. I'm Kelly.
I'm Jimmy.
Happy New Year, everyone.
It's a new year. Big goals.
Jimmy just got done telling me he didn't set any goals, which is fine, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't need any more pressure.
Yeah, really.
Not that I have a very pressure-filled life. Maybe I should set a goal. I don't have much going on.
I was kind of thinking that when you think about a goal for the whole year, because I want to work out more, honestly, it's one of my number one things. Working out for an entire year, that just sounds like so much.
I know. No, it is. It's all about the little short-term ones.
I know, that, yeah. So that's why I was thinking, maybe I should just restructure my brain to be it's not a 2025 goal, it's a January, February goal or something, and then go from there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel just in general, I set the little goals along the way. Mm-hmm. Right now, I'm very much focused on, did you ever hear of the let them theory?
Yes.
So I'm very deep into the let them theory of everything. I'm
Wait, do you want to explain it or what it means to you?
I guess we should, right?
Yeah, just in case.
Okay, but we should give the person credit. Do you remember her name? It's Mel Robbins or Mel Gibbons.
Yeah, wait, is she the person that invented it? Mel Robbins?
Yeah.
She is such a good speaker.
Mel Gibson's an actor.
I think it's a guy, right?
Yeah. Yep, it is. Yeah, Mel Robbins.
Oh my God, it's a whole book?
The book just came out. I'm going to read it. It literally got published on Christmas Eve.
Oh my God.
Not yet, I didn't yet. Well, I have Spotify, so I'll probably listen to it if she's the one that reads it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mel Robbins.
Wait, I love that. Okay, I think that, this is just my based on nothing. It kind of seems like she just made a video talking about that, and now she has a whole book coming out about it. That's so cool.
Yeah, and I love it. So it's basically a theory that is just you can't control what other people are doing in life, but you can control your own outlook, or if you are going to hope and want to change things that other people are doing that again are kind of out of your control. Mm-hmm. So if you make plans with someone and they decide to cancel the plans last minute because they wanted to go and do this thing with their friends and they didn't invite you, rather than sitting home and thinking about all these horrible things and whatever, you just are let them. If they want to do that, you just have to let them do it, and I can't stress out that much about it, but I could control that it's not going to ruin my whole night, and I just let them do that, and I'm going to find something to do with myself, because the more that you let other people do those things, it shows you more of who they truly are. Mm-hmm. And then that's when you can make the decision where you're well, I don't think that this is someone that needs to really be in my life that much. But she also is very clear, the three, I think she had three markers of the let them theory, and it's obviously if they're doing something to really harm you or someone else, it's not just let people go and kill someone on the street, but for the little things that typically if you have a hard time letting things go with certain things, and I feel I do kind of I am a little bit of a control freak in my life. So for example, if I make plans with friends and they show up 25 minutes late, I'm that's so rude. It's disrespecting my time. It will send me into a spiral. Mm-hmm. Whereas now I'm I know that's what they do. Let's let them do that. I'm going to just plan. And if I want to leave the house by 1:30, I'm going to tell them that we're going to leave around 1. So it's a way to kind of modify your thing without holding them to it too much, or letting it become this big thing that kind of controls your mind.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. I did hear it around dating, because it's okay, if a guy wants to, it's always I'm a guy is doing the bad things.
It's the man-hating podcast.
Yeah. In my experience, it has been. No, but if you're talking to someone early on and starting dating and they start to treat you poorly, let them. You don't need to go over every single possible detail in your mind and try to justify their actions and figure out why they did all of these things. All of that is irrelevant. Let them do it and move on with your life. I kind of like that it kind of reminds you, just the phrase let them, I feel kind of means that has nothing to do with you. Let them do that and you do your thing over here, and all that is irrelevant to you. And I kind of love that, because when I was in my dating, talking to different guys era, I would always sit there and try to analyze actions, and then also hope that they were going to do something else, or somehow make plans, even if they're just in my head, to get them to do something else, the thing that I want them to do, when all of that is impossible, and it doesn't matter what you think, and just let people be who they are and pick and choose them to be in your life based off of that. I love that.
Yeah, I feel too, especially early on in dating, that's really important, because that's when you're really seeing who someone is. You know what I mean? I feel as you get to know someone and they get to find out things that they really like about you, they might change little things in themselves because they like something that you're doing a little bit better or something like that. But especially in the beginning, you have have to kind of let them show you who they are that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had like a similar experience. So I'm like still single. I've been like doing the dating thing. I've been trying to like get back into it a little bit more because for a while I just was like, oh my God, I just realized that I like haven't been on a date in like 5 months. And I was like, I should probably like maybe put a little more effort into this. So over the last, like, I would say like 2 months, I've been trying to like kind of go back into the dating world, but I'm not someone that like could do I'm going to have like 5 guys on the deck and like go out on a date with this one. And then I'll go out on a date with that one. And then maybe next week I could, like, I just can't do that. Like I kind of have to like talk to one person at a time. Like, but it's not good because then I like neglect, you know what I mean? I don't know. I've been trying to work on that too. But so I was seeing this one guy for like, I would say probably like 4 weeks, but still again, like very new. And his communication style, he's someone who's like in a job that works overnight and stuff like that. And he was very good and like totally like into it and like really just like wanted to talk all the time. Even when he was at work, like he would text me, but then like I'd obviously be going to bed. But then like whenever he wasn't sleeping outside of, because he had to sleep some parts during the day, he would text me and then like it was getting to like the double text thing where I'm like, wait a second, like I didn't even, like the one day he knew that I was going to be done with work at 5 and texted me at 5 and then I didn't answer and then like 10 minutes later he like sends me the double eye emoji. Like, because he knew that and I was like, okay, you're showing me maybe your communication style is like a little bit different than mine. Yes. So like, I that's not something that I'm going to be able to do. So I just had to talk to him about that and like things ended up fizzling off. But then there was another guy after I was talking to him, it was on the other end of the spectrum where he was someone that like I would hear from and then wouldn't hear from him for like 3 more days. And then I was talking to my one friend about it and she was like, you kind of got to like find a middle ground, Jimmy. Like this one was texting you too much. That one's not texting you enough. Like you have to figure out and like maybe that's a good thing. You know what I mean? And I did feel like it was because I really enjoyed hanging out with this guy. But then eventually like he had said he like had just got out of a relationship or something. And like I was the first person he like started dating. He didn't feel ready, whatever. So I'm trying to let people show me in that way in the dating realm. But I didn't even realize that was like the principle that I was kind of using. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I think that I'm going to read the book. Are you going to read it? Are you going to try to read it? We should read it and talk about it.
Okay, that's a good idea. Okay, wait, so it'll be on Spotify. How does it work listening to books on Spotify?
So I think you get 12 hours a month of audiobooks on Spotify.
Oh my gosh.
So like there's like ones like that. Like I liked the Michelle Obama book that she like narrated herself. I like to listen to, and a couple of the Brene Brown ones. The Britney Spears one, amazing as an audiobook.
Wow.
Yeah, she didn't narrate her own, but
okay, I love this. We should definitely do that. So
we should do that.
Yeah.
That's one of my goals because I want to get back into reading too. I'm really sad because I was on a reading kick last year and I had a goal to read 12 books and I read 13.
Wow.
So I did meet my goal, which I know like, but I've been seeing people post their like reading Wrapped and I'm like, how do you read 151 books in a year? Like, I'm sorry, get a fucking hobby.
Other than reading.
That's horrible. No, I don't actually mean that. But like, I'm like, really, how do you read that many books?
I think people have different reading speeds because physically I cannot read that quickly. Like, I just don't understand. I mean, I guess it's also though, the more you read, probably the quicker you get. So maybe it's like compounding kind of thing. I also started reading it because I wanted to start reading too. And you inspired me, Jimmy. So Jimmy saw the movie Wicked, but you said you wanted to read, or you wanted to see the play and then see the movie. Yeah. I was like, okay, I kind of want to do that too. And I've had the book in my room since I was a child and I've never read it. So I decided I'm going to read the book, then see the play, then see the movie. I started reading it. I got like 60 pages in, but it took me so long. Like I started reading it on a plane and it took me almost the whole plane ride to read 50 pages. So it was like maybe 2 hours, 2.5 hours for 50 pages. Like that's not a lot. Like that's not a lot of ground to cover. Right. So I think I need to keep doing it so that I can read faster because I also want to read more.
Right. No, I struggle the same way too. And I do think that it does get easier because I did notice that as I was. Because for a while I wasn't reading because I would like read a page and then I'd be like, shit, I don't know what I just read. I got to read that page again. And then I would have to reread that page. And it was literally like one page in a book of like 372 pages or something like that. You know what I mean?
Oh, sorry. No, I was going to ask, was that happening when you were reading stuff that you were excited about or something that's like more difficult to read, like a self-help book? Not difficult to read, but like almost anyone could pick up like The Summer I Turned Pretty. Obviously that's a children's book, but like something like that. Just because it's like happy fiction, it's basically a movie. Does that happen to you in those those situations, or if you're reading like Atomic Habits or like the Mel Robbins book.
So I started at like, what got me into the reading was like more of the self-help books, like Atomic Habits. I've like read that book 3 times, but I did struggle with it at first. And I feel like a lot of those self-help books, I mean, any books, the first half is really like laying the groundwork. Like you're not really getting much, you know what I mean? Like you're learning about the characters, whatever. But I do think that those ones, I had to take a break from like nonfiction, self-help type books because I did feel like I was like, oh my God, like what am I, you know what I mean? And my one friend was like, well, now that you're reading more, find something like a topic that might be fiction that you could read for fun. And you don't have to like learn something from the book. You know what I mean? So then I did. And like, I love like The Woman by Kristen Hanna and stuff like that. But then I'm back in a reading slump, and The Nightingale, which is a lot of people will argue that's like her best book ever, put me back into my slump. And I'm like, I'm supposed to like this book. Like everyone said this is like a really good book. And I'm like maybe 3/5 of the way through it. I want to say like half, want to say like 3/4. And I'm like stalled there. But I can't, again, it's kind of like dating. I can't read 3 books at once. Like I got to devote my energy into this one book. And I really want to finish it. So that's my goal, is to get back into it. And I started watching the news in the morning before work around the election rather than reading. And that's really when I fell off. Okay. Which, like, why am I starting my day watching like Doomsday on the news, basically? You know what I mean? So that's going back into my morning rotation. That Atomic Habits helped me with it originally, like setting my morning, because I get up at like 6 every day. But
6. I can't imagine waking up at 6. I need to get up earlier. That's one of my goals too.
I know.
I feel like this might be the wrong thing to say, but when you were saying the thing about reading the fiction book that you really don't like, and it's like putting you in a reading slump, but you're like, I just need to finish it. I kind of don't think you need to finish it. I feel like there's this like pressure when it comes to reading that it's like, if you don't finish the book, it's not valuable. But you would never say that about a movie or a TV show or a podcast or a YouTube video. It's just a form of entertainment. So why, if you're halfway through, do you need to finish it? Like, if it's putting you in a slump, I say just skip it and then read something that actually inspires you.
I know. I like want to finish it though, because I don't even like hate the book. It's not a book that I like don't like. I don't know why. I'm just like having a hard time getting through it. It's like taking me longer. Okay. Like The Woman by Kristen Hanna, I literally read it in a day and a half. Like,
is it fiction?
It is. They're both fiction, but they're like historical fiction.
Got it.
Which like I figured out that I like, but I flew through that one and then I went right into I did read one in between, but then I went into The Nightingale and I was like, oh, maybe I should take a break from historical fiction. So maybe I should do that and read something else and then go back to that.
Well, I guess if you want to finish it, the way you said it before, I thought you were like, I hate it. And
I'm not
really
hating it. No, yeah. Okay. I haven't hated it. It's just been taking me a while. And it's a bigger book. It is a big book for me. I know some people read like 1,000-page books. I'll never be that person ever.
I can't imagine. 2 of my friends are really into historical books and they are reading, or they both read it. Apparently it's like, oh my God, I'm going to butcher this, but it's like about Germany in World War II. And it's like the longest book like in the English language. And I think there's like 2 or 3 volumes and they're each like 1,000 pages or something, but it has so much history in it that and apparently it's very well written. Oh my gosh, I totally forget what it is. But it's about a very intense topic because it's like World War II and Germany and I forget, but they both are like, this is the most amazing book I've ever read. Oh, they also read a memoir about a US president. Maybe I'm mixing the 2 together. Maybe they're 2. Yeah, I think I might be mixing them. I forget. Regardless, they were both reading these books that were 1,000 pages or 800 pages of real history. I'm like, you know what, but maybe I would actually like historical books because I do enjoy history and I've never attempted to read a historical book, I don't think.
You should read The Woman.
Okay.
By Kristen Hanna. I feel like that book to me was like, it was just so good.
Okay.
It's about like the women nurses that were in the one war.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the Vietnam War.
Okay, maybe I'll put that on my goal list.
It was a good one. I was able to fly through it.
Do you have the physical book?
No, I borrowed it from a friend, but I could probably get it for you if you want me to.
Okay, I'm going to write it down. Maybe I can find it somewhere or borrow my sister's Kindle or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
The library. I get a lot of my books from the library
That's
too.
a great idea.
I'll put them on hold.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll add it to my list of goals. I made a small list of goals that was like a few things that I think I need to do. Like I want to be more creative and have more experiences and just explore like new things that, I don't know, like, you know how when you're a kid, you try everything. Almost every kid, I mean, I guess it's a privileged thing to say, but like tries a random instrument or multiple instruments, every sport, and you decide which one you you like clubs, like lessons, all these things. And then you decide like which ones you like and you stick with it, or you don't like any of them and whatever. But we like never do that as adults because it's just scary, I guess, to start something as an adult. And you're like, what if I'm not good at it? Like, what if? Like, who cares? If a kid wasn't good at something, nobody would judge them. So like, why do we judge adults trying things that they're not good at? Like, we should just try things. Like, we're still worthy of doing new things. So I want to take more classes this year. Like, I was thinking it would be fun to take an acting class. That would be terrifying, but like, why not just try it? And then I want to take a tennis lesson. I've wanted to take a tennis lesson for years, but I'm just like so scared. Like, it's so nerve-wracking to like go to the tennis center and take a lesson. Like, why? Just go and take a freaking tennis lesson. It's not that deep. But I want to like actually make myself do these things. Right. So we'll see if I actually do it. I want to.
I feel like too, I've been kind of like, so I'm going to be 30 in like 3 months. So I've been like, and I'm not anyone that like ever with like birthdays, I'm like, oh my God, like I'm getting old, whatever. But like that one is like a little bit of like a bigger one. You know what I mean? So I feel like I've been already kind of trying to do things like that. Like we were talking a little bit before we started recording, but I went skiing for like the first time ever over Christmas break, winter break. And I like had a blast. But again, that was me really pushing myself out of like my comfort zone. So I do want to try other things that way. And I've really been thinking about joining one of those gyms that have like trainers that like, it's like almost like circuit training, kind of like an Orange Theory or something like that. It's called like F45 in Philly. I have a friend from work, a coworker that goes every day before school, and you just kind of have to go and like they tell you what to do. It's like 45-minute high intensity training or whatever, but it's like expensive. It's not cheap, but I'm like, maybe that would like really be like a good investment in, you know, myself doing that. And like I would do it before work and then I wouldn't have to worry about working out after work. Yeah. And then I'm doing the half marathon. So like little things like that.
Wait, I feel like you didn't say that on the podcast. Jimmy signed up for a half marathon.
Yeah, I'm doing it. Well, I feel like for that too, even like I already did it once. So I'm like, I could do it again. This time it'll be like a week after my 30th birthday. So it'll be a new decade of my life.
Yes, sweet. That's great. Is that the furthest you've ever run? Is a half marathon?
Yeah. And before the last one. So I'm hoping for a better experience this time because before the last one, I got like, I really messed up my knee like 3 weeks before it. So the 3 weeks leading up to it, I was like doing really short 4-mile runs, 5-mile runs. Like I didn't even get near the 13.1 before the actual race because like you kind of near it up until like maybe like 2 weeks or a week before. And then that's your longest run. You don't even have to do the 13.1, but I was hoping to get to like 12 at least. And I think my highest run was like 9 where I was in my plan. So I'm hoping that this time like I don't get hurt. My knee doesn't bother me. I know exactly how I hurt it the last time because I was running on like a lip of like a turn that was like uneven and I think I like stepped the wrong way. So I had to have like this big bionic brace to do it. And then the last 4 miles of the half marathon, I like could not bend my knee. And I was like just like swinging my leg. I looked like ridiculous.
Oh my gosh.
My dad and like sisters and nieces and nephews and everything were at the finish line waiting. My nephew came up to me and was like, Baka, which is what they call my dad, Baka wants to know if you stopped for a coffee on your way here. Like, is that what took you so long? And I was like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. But so this time it's going to be smooth sailing, no injuries, no ailments. And my best friend, Sam, who got me into running in general, like originally, like doing the Broad Street run and everything, she hurt her ankle, like her foot actually. And like she couldn't run it at all. So then I like didn't have her, who I like normally am used to running with, but my other friend Natalia did it with me, who I would run with too, just not as much as with Sam. Thank God I had her. And she stayed with me the whole time, which was so nice. Even though she could have like went a lot quicker than me probably by the end. So yeah, those are my little goals.
Oh, I like that.
So I guess I do have some goals, but oh, and I'm going to Vegas in February.
So fun.
So
did you look up who's performing that weekend?
The Eagles are going to be at the Sphere.
Wow.
So I feel like we have to go see them.
Yes, that'd be so sick.
Mariah Carey is going to be there, and her tickets are a lot cheaper than the Eagle tickets at the Sphere. So yeah, there's a couple performances going on while I'm there. So definitely going to go do something like that. But
okay, love that for you.
Yeah.
Oh my God, so fun. I want to go to Vegas. I don't know when, but it's just so fun.
February.
I could go anytime.
Yeah. Come.
February, should I?
Yeah.
What airline are you flying on?
I think American.
Okay.
Well, one there,
not bad.
Something there, one of like the budget airlines there. Is American considered budget? So no, right? But I think one of the budget airlines there and American back.
Okay.
Because I just know that I had to pay for a bag on the one flight, but not the American flight.
The flights aren't bad.
No, they're not bad at all. It's like we're going the 14th to the 17th.
Wow. Valentine's Day?
Yeah, think about it. I'm going to fall in love and go right to the chapel in Vegas. Isn't that what people in Vegas do?
I think it'd be so fun to get married in Vegas and do like maybe get legally married in Vegas and then have a ceremony. I don't know, somewhere else.
That'd be fun.
It would. Okay, I'll book the flight right now.
I really think you should.
You know, it would be fun.
Any Vegas promoters listening, hit me up. I would love to not have to pay to get into the club.
Well, wait, this is so relevant because when was it? Like 2 weeks ago or something, Rebecca and I were talking about gambling, and I was saying how I'm like anti-gambling, but going to the club in Vegas is basically free because you get in for free if you just talk to a promoter, which that's like the only thing that seems like a scam that's actually not a scam because they will let you in for free if you go. But I think you have to like go between certain hours because I think most people that are paying for the club experience want to go at like 11 for like the main headline or like maybe even 12. But I think with the promoters, you just have to get there by 10:30 or something. But it's not like it's not fun. Like there's still like things going on, but it's just less people and it's not the main act. I'm like, yeah, I'll go there at 10:30.
Oh, and I'm good with that because I mean, let me get in there when it's not too crowded, and then once the crowd comes, I'll head home.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like a great night.
Exactly. So yeah, do the promoter thing.
Yeah, hit me up, promoters.
It's January. It's a new year. We're talking about goals. We're talking about being more productive. We're talking about mental health and mental wealth and investing in habits that are going to set us up for success in the long run. In previous years, I have definitely struggled with productivity and focus. I have goals, but I just struggle with getting into a productive mindset and sitting down, being able to focus and getting closer to those goals. Thankfully, I have found something that works for me, and that is Magic Mind. Magic Mind is a performance mental health shot that helps me to be more productive throughout my day. I personally take it with caffeine in the morning. It helps wake me up. It helps my brain use the caffeine better so that I'm not jittery and I'm able to focus so much better. Something I'm excited about is Magic Mind is now offering a 24-hour pack, which will help you focus during the day and sleep better at night. The 24-hour pack is focus and sleep shots bundled up for the first time. I am personally so excited about this because I struggle with sleep schedules so much. And one of my goals for the new year is to be on a better sleep schedule and get better sleep so I can be more productive during the day. If you find yourself struggling with focus or sleep at night, this might be the product for you. It's a natural way to enhance your healthy habits and help you be more productive and sleep better at night, which is going to give you a better year. If you're interested in trying Magic Mind, I highly recommend it. I take it myself and I've told many of my friends about it, even outside of the podcast. So if it sounds like something you're interested in, you can get Magic Mind's new 24-hour pack, which is sleep and focus shots all in one, for 45% off by using our link. Our link is in the description. And if you're interested in trying Magic Mind, I encourage you and I hope you love it. We're talking about 2025 goals today. I found these two Reddit threads about self-improvement and like what people said their goals were regarding health and whatnot. Honestly, I don't know exactly what they're going to entail because I just wanted to like read them live and not pre-read them. And so I think it'd be interesting to read those. Yeah,
I think so too. And it goes with like all the goal setting and habits. It's about the little goals, not the big.
Yes. I also want to, just in general in 2025, I want to put more visuals in my like common space, or not common spaces, but spaces that I use the most to do more visualization and manifesting. Are you into manifesting?
I'm not, but I was talking to a friend who's doing the same thing. She like put her phone background as her vision board or whatever.
Yeah.
Because then you see it.
Like constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like your computer background, right?
Yes, I have mine as my computer background. But like the thing is, it does become white noise after a while. Like I don't really look at it. I think it takes like, you need to like actually focus on looking at it.
Right.
Why do you not believe in manifestation? Do you just think it's like woo-woo and like doesn't make sense?
No, I don't know. I just don't think I've ever like thought about it that much.
Okay. Because I was going to see like if you're not into it, I wanted to hear like your perception of people when they're like manifesting.
No. Well,
things.
I feel like I do like I don't know if I do like the manifestation thing. Like if you're going through, like when I was going skiing and I was like terrified to go on the ski lift, I was just like saying to, like out loud unto myself, I was like, you're going to be able to do this. You can go down there. You're not going to fall. So I'm like, there's like little manifestations. Some people that like manifest and they're like, I'm going to travel the world and do this by the end of this year. I'm like, well, okay. Is it manifesting or are you like going to like do the work to be able to do that? You know what I mean? I don't know. Yes. What is your like outlook on it?
Okay, that's a good point. That's a very good point actually. And I feel like I tread the line between being spiritual and just like working hard for things. And I feel like it's a little bit of both because like the mantras, I also use them while snowboarding. It really helps. It really does.
Oh yeah, that's more of like a mantra.
Yeah, but But I do think those are like what lead to manifesting something bigger. I believe in it, but then I don't think I'm good at it, honestly. I don't know. I will say when I was in high school and like growing up, I remember like I just tend to hyper fixate on things. And I remember thinking to myself, like, wow, so many things that I hyper fixate on actually come true. And I was like, wait, I think I was low key manifesting them.
Right.
And I think I've said this on past episodes, but I think it's logical and also woo woo, because if you like, your thoughts do become your reality, regardless of like if they're positive, you're going to have a more positive life because your whole life is just your perception of your life. And if you're negative, it's going to be negative because you're going to perceive everything as negative. So I do think what we think plays a huge role in what our lives become. And if you're constantly thinking like, I'm capable, I am able to like make my dreams come true, and like I am hardworking, like you will become hardworking. You're just going to have more self-confidence that's going to give you more like motivation to do things. But I also think that there's the other side of it that's like, if you just say things all the time, but you don't work to make them reality, that kind of has the opposite effect, because you could like sit around and be like, yeah, I'm so rich. Like I'm just so rich. Money comes easily to me. And you just sit around and do nothing. Like, how is money going to come to you? So you almost like trick yourself into thinking you've already done the work when you've actually done nothing except say that you've done the work.
Right.
So I think there's a line between, or like it's a balance between doing things every day and also like keeping your thoughts like positive and like affecting your self-esteem. I just feel like I'm not as good. I believe in the like visualization and manifestation things, but I don't think I'm good at it. I want to get better at it. That's why I'm going to try this new like visual thing. And I agree with you, how you were saying like people just make these like huge goals. And I think a lot of them don't come true. And then some of them it's like, well, yeah, it's just because you have a full-time job and so you have money and you just booked the trip to like go around the world. But like, I don't know. I think it's just a balance, I guess.
Yeah.
But I want to be better at the visualization because I've just heard about like other people telling their stories and the things that they manifested. And I'm like, bro, I need to be doing this too.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's a bad thing, because I think that you need to like set your sights on something bigger. Maybe I should try it too. We could do it together.
Yeah, we could do like a challenge or something. I think I need to start with smaller goals because it's so easy to be like, I make millions of dollars. I have X, Y, and Z. I live in this house. I think I need to think more in the next step. But I feel like when I think about manifestation as a whole and like visualizing and like thinking of goals, I'm way more quicker to think of these like massive goals. That's like, I have these things in life and it's like what it's going to take me a long time to achieve, like the beautiful home, the like the money, the whatever. But it starts with these smaller steps towards those goals. But I'm almost scared that if I only manifest the smaller steps, the universe is going to be like, oh, well, she's at this level, but like these other people are like manifesting millions of dollars. So we'll give them the millions and we'll give her the 1,000 or whatever. But I guess that's really not how it works. Like, I think everyone needs to get there in steps. So I really need to think about like the smaller steps.
Yeah, it's all the little steps along the way that get you to the big goal, I think.
Yes. Maybe that's what we manifest.
But yeah, and I feel like sometimes I'm becoming like too complacent and not setting like the huge goals.
It's such
and you don't want to become complacent, you know what I mean? But that's why the small ones are better, because then they're not as intimidating and they're more achievable.
Yeah.
Like even in my work, if I have a kid who like really struggles with the K sound, for example, I'm not expecting them to say K in sentences like the the first day of therapy. We're going to work on literally just like even touching our throat to like cue ourselves for like the first like month.
Yeah.
And then maybe we'll just do it in isolation, like and like that's the win for the day.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're going to say like Kimmy the kangaroo.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Jimmy's a speech pathologist, by the way, for children.
So if I'm like setting those goals and making sure that they're achievable and attainable for my kids, like I could do that in my own life too.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going home and setting goals after
I
this.
know. I'm like, wow.
I changed my mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm setting a freaking goal.
I need to make a vision board for real this time.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to journaling. Because you're saying this too, and like I was very into journaling for a while, but I fell off. But like a lot of it would be like positive mantras where you're like, I am, and you would name like 3 things that you are. I felt like I stopped it because eventually I was like, oh my God, I'm repeating. Like, and I was like trying to look back and I'm like, well, no, you could repeat.
Yeah.
Like, again, it doesn't have to be like a very high pressure thing.
Right.
It was like the 5-minute daily journal. I don't know if you ever saw those.
I used to do that too.
Yeah. It would have a little quote and then you would have to like talk about the quote in your life.
Yes.
So maybe I'll go back to that.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a game plan.
Yes. And it's little things. That's what I think I need to like think of these bigger bigger goals and then, write down like realistically, because it's so easy to be like a dreamer and be like, I can achieve all of this and this and this. But it's like, it's actually harder for me to figure out what steps are going to get me there. So I think that's what I really need to like focus on and like figure out. But what you were saying about like being complacent, I kind of think that happens to people when they're, I mean, I guess it could happen in any situation, but I think if I were to guess about you, it's because your life is like happy overall and you have so many like positive thing, or this is just how I view your life, you know. Right. Everyone has like struggles, but you have so many positive things in your life. You have an amazing job that you're so good at and passionate about. You have so many friends and you have a great place to live, and the city you live in you love, and you see your family, and like you have so many good things in your life that fills your like happiness cup. And then I feel like because of that, maybe you're like, I have everything, like you're so like grateful that you're like, I'm great, like this is a great life. Yeah,
I do feel like that is it in some ways, but then in other ways, and we've talked about this a little bit, where like I had to work on, and I worked on it with my therapist for a little bit, like not being a yes man, because then like it was like all of those things were like so good, but also like then I had like nothing, like I was like on empty because I was trying to do all those good things that I like love and were making me really happy, but then they were making me like more stressed in a way because I'm like, I have no time like for myself, which is why I moved on my own and everything like that too, because I was like, I think these are the steps that I have to take, and I don't see myself getting back to that place where I was like booked and busy all the time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I really love that I live alone because during the week, like, I don't do a lot at all. But on the weekends, like, I like to do a lot of stuff, and like, that's a good thing. But I could see myself kind of getting back into like the yes man space, and I don't want to do that. Being able to draw boundaries for myself, and like, that's okay. You know what I mean? So that's the only part that I feel like maybe I have to work on still. But I do love everything else.
Yeah, that's such an important goal though. Like, everything you said, I'm like, yes, that's so true. Like, I do feel like you, because you're so social too, and like something I noticed about you at your one birthday party that like all these different friend groups of yours came to, you were like such a celebrity. Like, I just feel like everyone like loves you and wants you to like come with them to like this plan and this plan. Like, I don't know, that's just like
oh my god, you're like giving me too much credit.
No, I don't think so.
No,
like, I seriously was like, oh my god, Jimmy's like so popular. Like, that's
so funny.
I just feel like everyone wants you to be their best friend. And
I think the hard part, not that it's a hard part, again, I'm like so grateful, but like in situations like that, like I feel like I have really great friends from college that like I've really tried to like keep in touch with and like stay where we could just pick up where we left off. And then I have friends that I've become really close with in Philly since I moved to Philly, and like I spend a lot of time with them because like we live here, you know what I mean? We all live in like the same neighborhood. And then I have friends from home that like I cherish and like love so much, and like I'm so glad that we've stayed. Like, I know so many people don't have friends from high school that they see like regularly or talk to regularly, and I feel like that's more of the norm than what I have, where I have like a really solid group of like 5 to like 7 people from high school that like I still feel like super duper close with, and like we talk all the time. And so then like in situations where it's like a birthday, for example, where I'm like, I really like love all these people and I want them to be in the same place, that like to me, then I get like so stressed out. Like there, like you're like, oh my god, you're a celebrity, and meanwhile I was like, oh my god, like I didn't talk to like Kelee for like more than like a minute and 30 seconds, and then like I saw someone else, and like I have to go back or else like Kelly's gonna think that like I invited her here, and like I don't want to like talk to her. Like that's where my brain will get to, which like it doesn't have to, and again has to, like is where I have to like realize or like just kind of let things like be that way, you know what I mean? Because everyone keeps asking what I'm gonna do for my 30th, and for a while I like was planning like big extravagant birthdays. Last year like we went out like a little bit, but it wasn't like a huge thing.
What was last year?
It was like near St. Patrick's Day-ish.
Oh yeah, that
remember?
Was so
and like
fun.
we and it was like very low key. Like we just went to a couple bars, like, and there were probably like I don't know 10 or 15 of us, like, and it wasn't like that big of a deal, you know what I mean? And I love that, but everyone's like, oh, it's your 30th, like you gotta do, and I'm like, wait, maybe I don't have to do anything big.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like I could just be with the people that I like see regularly, you know what I mean, and not have people come from afar. But
oh, that's so sad that you felt stressed.
No, yeah, that's why it's like, oh, it looks like, I'm like, oh, and I was so happy. My cup was like overfilled. It was like overflowing, and that's why I think I was stressed, because like my cup was so filled. But yeah.
Well, I don't think anyone was judging you for like mingling with everyone for a
brief
time.
I know, no, I don't think that they were either. You know what I mean? But I just like, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like that's how it is at like weddings, because you have so many people like that. Everyone in your life is there. It's like, how are you supposed to like say hi to everyone in like the 4-hour reception? Like,
yeah, and you
like impossible.
No, you can't spend like good quality time with everyone at your own wedding.
Yeah. Or your own birthday party, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, but that is a good goal to like set boundaries for yourself, because like I just think when it comes to, or what I've noticed, I feel like, is when it comes to like setting goals for the new year's, most people tend to go towards the like working out, the more money, the very like stereotypically like goal that people think of when you think of New Year's resolution. But then to be like, I need to set better boundaries, or like, I don't know, plan my like social calendar better so that I have like more energy when I do have plans and I'm not stressed about like all these things. Like that is so important. And no one thinks, or at least I haven't seen anyone post about that as being their goal.
And I do really focus on like the weeks being quiet. Like during the week, like I don't do much. I go to work and then I work a second job and then I like make dinner and like I'm on the couch. Like I keep it very, now I'll be running again, so that'll be like part of that. But I don't really have like a social life as much during the week, which I love, because then on the weekends I do feel like I'm more present. And moving on my own has allowed me to do that, because like I'm really not social at all during the week, like not even with a roommate, which like wasn't a horrible thing either. And like there are some nights where I'm like, oh, it'd be nice to like be with someone, so I'll like call a friend or something like that. But this weekend here on Friday I'm going to a comedy show, but then I don't really have plans Saturday and Sunday, which I'm happy about, because then next weekend I think that we're gonna like hang out. I think we are, right? Yeah. So like, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's just like finding the balance between it all.
Yeah.
But
that's a great goal.
And again, I don't want to sound like I'm like, oh God, I'm just so busy. Like, you know what I mean? Like I like always feel like I like might sound that way, and I don't want to feel that, because I know how lucky I am. You know what I mean? But
I think like that's what's hard when you start talking about making parts of your life better that are like, I guess, a privilege. People I think are like scared to talk about it because it just comes off wrong. But it's like, because you have like a lot going on in your social life, or if someone has like a lot of friends and they're like, well, I need to be better at managing like plans, literally plans, like something so superficial. I feel like it would be easier to be like, well, at least you have plans. Like, like you're really complaining about like not having like enough time to just sit alone. Like it's a privilege to have friends, like whatever. And like, yes, that's true, but it's like a rich person complaining and they're like, well, you have money, so you don't get to complain. You're still allowed to want to improve parts of your life that you are privileged to have in your life.
Right. And I work really hard to like maintain those relationships.
Exactly.
I feel that's part of working hard to do that, because if your own cup's not full, then you're gonna not be able to do those other things or give those people your attention and things like that if you're not taking care of yourself first.
Yeah, I agree with you.
All right, here we go.
Wait, I was gonna say one more thing that's like very similar to that, kind of like on the opposite side of that. I feel like well, that's not really the opposite side, but like I feel like recently I've been finding myself doing like the easy thing, and I feel like you might relate, because I feel like just saying yes to everything and like not setting up boundaries is kind of the easier thing to do. I feel like I've been focusing on doing all the easy tasks, but they're not like getting me further along in the staircase to the goal. I'm just staying on the same like step, maybe going one more step. I need to focus on like the hard things and get out of my comfort zone more. I guess it wasn't as related as I thought it was going to be.
No, but I think that goes along with like trying new things and stuff like that too, that you're already talking about.
Yeah. Oh, I saw this one that made me laugh. My goals in 2025 are to achieve my 2024 goals, which I pursued in 2023 and started in 2022, having set them during the lockdown in 2021. And I was like, wait, why?
That's so real.
So relatable.
That's hilarious. And again, I feel like that's why you have to focus on the little goals and not those really big goals, because they probably have achieved a lot of the little goals since the lockdown, you know?
Yes. I also think maybe this kind of goes in line with journaling, but it could be nice to write down little goals that may seem insignificant, but just so you can like check it off. Or even if you didn't write it down, but you realize like, oh, I just did this thing that I have been putting off or that I really wanted to do and I was excited about it. Just writing it down in like a notepad or something, or even on your phone notes app, could really help you when you're looking back over the year and you're like, oh my God, I feel like I didn't do anything this year. And then you read your list and you're like, well, I did run 5 miles or even 1 mile. Like it doesn't matter the number, but whatever would actually mean something to you, just so you look back and you're like, actually, I did so many things, even though they may seem small to somebody else. These are the things that like make my life what it is, you know?
Right. I know. And I feel like too, like with technology, we could use it to our advantage in that way. I've never been a fan of using like the Strava app for running running, for example.
Oh, yeah, I heard
And
that.
it's really good. And like, I have used it like sometimes, but typically I just have like my Apple Watch and it like tracks my run and like that's it. But I don't really go that far. But then people were posting their like running Wrapped this year, and I was like, oh my God, like I wish that I knew like how many miles that I did run. So this year I'm going to use that one. And then it kind of shows you that you are doing those little things.
Right.
And Atomic Habits too. Like the one thing, like someone was like, I want to go to the gym every day before work. And the man who like he was talking about or discussing, like literally for a month straight, just like drove to the gym, got out of his car in the parking lot, got back in the car and went home for like a couple weeks. And like he was like, well, I am going there. And then he would go inside for like 10 minutes and do something for 10 minutes and then go home. Like it doesn't have to be the huge, like I'm going to go get a huge workout in every morning and like whatever. That person probably did do some of their little goals along the way, you know?
Yeah, that's a great point about the gym, because I feel like how I think about the gym is like, if I'm not going 5 days a week for an hour and a half, like it's not worth it. That is just not true. Like any movement of your body is good. You know, if it's a 5-minute walk or if it's like you stretch for 10 minutes in the morning or at night, all of that is great, you know, and it does matter. And when you're thinking about like workouts that really matter to affect like your body and your life, all of those things do count. It doesn't have to be the like going to the gym for an hour and a half. That's great too, but don't feel that you're not worthy or like, or not important, but like, oh my God, what's the word for like, I don't even know the word. I'm gonna try to get out of the habit of forgetting words. It's like so bad. It's one of the reasons why I want to read more.
Right.
And I started doing the New York Times crossword because I paid for the game so I could do the full crossword, because I forget words constantly. It's so annoying. But just because you don't go to the gym for like an hour and a half every day doesn't mean you didn't achieve something, you know?
Yeah.
Even walking for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes is great.
Right. And even if that's all that you have the time to do, if you're always going to say like, oh no, I don't have the time to go for an hour and a half, and you're just never going to go, then it's like,
exactly,
you're never going to do it. You know what I mean? So that's why those little ones are more important.
Yes. And it's way easier to, like, if you haven't worked out for the past year, it's way easier to start and wade into the like water by going to the gym for 10 minutes or going for a walk for 10 minutes rather than being like January 1st, hour and a half in the gym. Like that's just unrealistic and it's not sustainable, and you're not going to have fun doing that.
No, you're not. And that's what I learned a lot through like the half marathon training too. The last time that I did it was like the little runs throughout the week. Like you have to do like a 2, a 3, a 2, and then a 5-mile run on the weekend. Okay. But you have to do all those little runs during the week to like really keep your whatever. And then they go up a little bit as you go, but like your little runs are never going to go over like 8 miles. Like, you know what I mean? God. But no, I know. Wow. And it sounds so crazy. And at the beginning, like where you're running like a mile, 2 miles, a mile, and then your long run is like a 3-mile run on the weekend. But then eventually that becomes like one of your little runs. And the little runs require the most discipline to me. The long runs, I get like excited about. I'm like, oh my God, I get to do like, I'm going to do 6 miles today. That's so cool. But I'm not going to be able to do those 6 miles if I didn't do like the 2, 3, 4, 2 that were leading up to it that week. And those require you putting on your shoes every day and getting outside and doing those little ones to get you to that bigger goal of the long run at the end of the week. I didn't actually make my half marathon plan yet, but a lot of my friends will just do it on their phone and put it in. I like have to print it so I could come home and cross it off every time that I do it. Like I keep it on my fridge and I cross it off every time. I need to do it that way. And like some things move, obviously, like if it's pouring rain on like Monday and I'm supposed to do my 2 mile, I might push it till Tuesday and then like I'll have to move things around for the week, but just circle it and move it to the next day. You know what I mean? Like things like that happen. But
oh my God, that I feel like as you were saying that, I'm like, this is such a metaphor for life.
No,
like, you can't do the 6 without the 4, 2, 2. Like that's so true.
And that's why I felt like the half marathon training last time helped me out like mentally so much more, because it was making me do those little things that like I'm not always doing. But now that's the other goal, is to keep running after I do the half marathon, because unless I'm signed up for something, I'm like, nah, fuck it, I don't have to go. Like I'm not doing it.
Wow. Okay, I love that. It's making me want to run a half marathon.
We're gonna run one, Taylor.
Wait, this is something I would struggle with running. What if you have the like 2, 4, 2, 2, 6 on your radar for this week, and then when it comes to the 2, 2, like you do it fine, but then the 4, like what if you have to walk like a ton during the 4? Do you still run 6, or do you take the 6 down until you can run the 2, 2, 4, 2?
You could take it down. I'm not like an expert runner by any means. Like I'm really not. Like I turn to other people for those questions a lot of times.
Okay, got it. I guess that is like a technical like
yeah, question. But from at least for me, like I'm not a time runner. Like, I don't care about how long it's going to take me. Like, if I have to walk, then I'm going to walk.
Okay.
I typically don't. Like, I feel like I really like am like able to push myself. But I also think that like as you are doing it, there's like a runner's high, like for real, that you get after. Like for me, it's after I run like 3 miles. Anyone's after that are kind of like I'm in it. Like I'm just like going and I don't even realize that I'm going. It's hard to get there though through like those smaller ones. So I just feel like if people ask me about that, I'm like just try to get through the little bit and then it gets like a lot easier. But if you have to walk, then walk.
Yeah.
And even when I'm doing the races, like with the knee thing, I didn't walk, but I like had to stop and like adjust myself because it was like cutting into my bone, it felt like. And I was like, oh my God, I have to like move my brace like at least a little bit to try to like relieve whatever pressure is like at that point. But like my friend Nat was like, oh my God, yeah, that's fine. Like I'm just going to keep moving while I'm standing here, but like you're good. So like just take the pressure off of it. And it's like, whatever. No one else around you knows if you're training for a half marathon and you're walking.
That's a great point. That is a great point.
And at the end of the day, like I just look at my watch and once I see it hit 6, I'm like, okay, I don't really care about how long it took me. Like I just reached that and like I'm here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So.
This is inspiring me actually.
We're gonna
I feel
run.
like this whole conversation, like it's making me want to run, but it also is such a metaphor for life. Like even when you were saying like, it doesn't matter how long it takes you and if you have to walk part of it, it doesn't matter. It like kind of reminded me of that quote that's like, I've heard it when it comes to being vegetarian or like just cutting out meat. And if people are like, oh, I could never do that because I always eat meat on like Taco Tuesday. It's like, if you can do something 80% of the time, don't let the 20% stop you from doing the 80%. And I feel like that's just a great analogy. And it's like, it's just so relevant to what you were saying, like about running, but also kind of about any goal at all.
Right.
Like if you can do something 4 days a week or 5, don't let the 2 or 3 you can't stop you.
Right.
Especially when it comes to like something healthy, like the gym or going for a walk or something.
But even like the eating thing, like I can't, like you don't eat meat.
No, I'm pescatarian.
Right.
Now.
Yeah. But like I cannot, that to me would be like the hardest thing. Like I tried it once and it was so hard for me.
Oh my God, it's fine. Yeah, just
you know what I mean? But like it's the same thing. Like where like that's something that like you were able to do and like implement in your life. Like I could not do it. Yeah. I did it for like a month and then my dad made bacon and I was like, fuck, I'm done. I quit.
Really more about like I don't know. When I was like in high school, well, I went vegetarian senior year of high school and I was like, oh, like I wasn't judgy, but I was definitely more like, if you're not going to do it perfectly, don't even do it. You don't deserve to call yourself it. And now I'm like, who cares? Like anytime you do a healthy, I don't know. I feel like now I'm like preaching as if I'm like trying to get it because I feel like running and like whatever, sticking to a goal, that's like a healthy, really good thing. Being like vegetarian is more just like you either like doing that or you don't like it. It's not like a good or bad thing, I guess. I just heard that quote related to that. But yeah, it's not like, I don't know. I don't get like any props for doing it. And like, it's not that you like failed. You just decided that it's not for you.
Right.
You know?
I have a couple of friends that do that too. And they're not even like, they'll be like, oh, like I'll try like a little nibble of that. Like I'm not like against like, like they're not as like full blown, like, no, Bible, I cannot touch a piece of anything that came from an animal like ever again. And they'll be like, oh no, it's just like, I don't like that, like whatever. But like, I'm not going to like shame you for doing it. And like, it's not that big of a deal to me. Yeah. Which I'm like, okay, I could like maybe do it more that way.
Yeah. Also, I just think you should do what you want to do. And when I went vegetarian, anytime I ate meat, I would feel like, oh, this feels wrong. Like this feels bad. I feel bad doing this. I feel sad doing this. And so I just like kind of followed that feeling. And then I went through like a long time where I was like, I have absolutely no desire. I mean, it took a little bit to get into it and like remind myself, like, don't eat a hot dog at the baseball game. Like, just remember, like, so I did have to work into the habit. But after 6 months, it became like really easy. Like, never had to think about it at all. But I had no desire whatsoever to eat any type of meat. And I was like, I can't imagine myself desiring to eat it. So I think I'm just going to like do this forever. But then like over like the years, I would randomly go through the desire to eat fish. And sometimes I followed it, sometimes I didn't. And then I just started liking eating fish. And I'm like, okay, I'm just like following the desire to eat seafood. And now I sometimes do desire to, like, if I smell like Chick-fil-A, a chicken sandwich from Chick-fil-A, or like the nuggets, we had them on Christmas. I'm like, that smells so good.
Right.
And so I have this like tinge of a desire, but it wasn't strong enough to like want to do it. Like I was like, no. But I had a bite of cheesesteak egg rolls 2 times this year because that was my favorite food before I went vegetarian. And one of them, first time I ever had it was when I was 16 at the Continental in Midtown in Philly. The food is so good. Or I mean, specifically the cheesesteak egg rolls. And when I had it at my friend's 16th birthday party, I was like, this is the best food I've ever tasted. And it was my favorite food for like 2 years up until I went vegetarian senior year. And then I didn't have it for like 10 years. And then this year I was at the Continental Midtown and they ordered cheesesteak egg rolls, and I was like, I really want to bite one.
Yeah.
And I did. And then I did the same thing at my friend's wedding because they were passing them around at cocktail hour. And I was like kind of like low-key embarrassed. I was like, well, I was like, I have to keep it on the down low. And then I was like, no, I don't, because I'm just trying to follow what feels right in the moment. And I don't want to, because I've heard people say like it like holds you back. Like, do you feel like you're missing out if you like travel and you don't eat meat? I haven't felt that way, but I also never want to feel that way. So if I ever were to feel like you are missing out on something if you're not eating this, I do think I would eat it in that moment.
Right.
But anyway, all this to say, I feel like I just am trying to live that way with like many things that I do. And just if something feels right, go for it. But don't hold yourself back from doing things just because you want to maintain this label.
Yeah. No, I agree. And going back to like your traveling thing, I am like the opposite way, where I'm like such a like animal meat eater, like not as much like a seafood fish eater. I don't know if they're considered animals. I don't know. I get messed up on the lingo. To me, in my mind, I'm like meat. On like Fridays, like during Lent, like for example, like I grew up Catholic, we would eat any type of seafood. Yeah. But like technically like salmon is considered meat, right?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe not. Or tuna. I don't know. I would eat a tuna hoagie.
Yeah, I could see why that would be, because it's like more like meaty, but it's also like semantics. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. But that's how. But regardless,
so funny,
I'm not really like big into seafood in general. Like, I don't really eat it that often. But when I went to Europe and I was in like Portugal, Italy, the amount of seafood that is there, like that's their main thing that they are eating in a lot of the places. So I was like, oh, I'm here. Like, it's not like I'm not gonna not try like this or that, you know what I mean? Like a whole like octopus like leg thing with like all the like things on it, and I'm like, I would never eat that in America. Like, oh my god, no, I couldn't even look at it. But over there I was like, oh, I'm gonna try a bite, like whatever, and like some of it was good, some of it I was like, oh yeah, that's why I don't eat that.
But it's good to have that experience too, because I was vegetarian for so long. Like, I just had my 10-year high school reunion. I didn't go to it, but it was scheduled, so I know that I went vegetarian like a little more than 10 years ago, closer to 11, because you have your high school reunion. Like, I went vegetarian in the fall, and I would have had my reunion the following fall. So anyway, whatever. But I went so long without having meat, and then people were like, oh, do you think if you ate meat it would make you sick? And I'm like, oh, I don't know, like not really. Oh, and then 3 years ago on Halloween, I had a hot dog. I was with Kelee, and
right, yeah.
I was like, I really want this hot dog, and like, but because basically it was an open bar and the hot dogs were free. That was the only food they had, and I was starving. And my friend was like, just eat it, like they're gonna throw them out anyway, because it was like an outdoor bar and it's the last night of the year that they're open, and then they close for the winter, so they're not like keeping their food until the following season, you know, they're getting rid of it tonight. She's like, if you don't eat it, like it's gonna go in the trash, so just eat it. And I was like, okay, fine. I ate it. Literally nothing happened. Like, I did not feel like different whatsoever. It didn't make me sick at all. But then when I had the cheesesteak egg rolls, it did kind of make me feel like a little gross, but I just still feel like that's a good experience to have, because it's like, well, at least you know now, like at least I now know that like the cheesesteak egg rolls do kind of make me feel like a little bit sick, like in a weird way. I'm like, kind of gross.
I was gonna say, because I feel like red meat could like tear me up. Like, I don't
Chipotle.
Put that on a cut. Yeah. Oh, but I have been craving Chipotle so bad lately, but red meat will tear me up sometimes. So like hearing you, like when you're like, oh yeah, I went right for the cheesesteak egg roll, I'm like, oh shit.
I know, that wasn't, it wasn't it's not like it made me sick,
right?
But my stomach just felt like heavy after that. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Definitely there's like a lot of grease. Yeah. There's a lot of grease involved in like the meat itself. You know what I mean? Even so.
Yes.
But no, yeah, I think we just take the pressure off of it.
Yes. And okay, I feel like that was such a long tangent. Just like get to the point of we can just stop letting semantics and like, well, I consider this, and like, if you can't say you're who cares? Like, don't let that, or like labels or rules or whatever. There are no rules in life. Like, you can do whatever you want. So just do whatever you want to do, as long as it's not hurting anyone, you know? It's like that quote from Aquamarine when she's like, you know, if you help a mermaid, you get a wish, as long as it doesn't violate the laws of nature. Something like that.
Justice for Aquamarine and our Aquamarine party that we attempted this summer did not happen.
Yes, it didn't. We tried to throw an Aquamarine party last Splash, and we're like, we're all gonna dress in Aquamarine colors, and like nobody did.
Some of us did, yeah.
Did some of us? I think it was only us.
I did. I had a light blue.
You did.
And then we met Real Housewife of New Jersey, Jennifer Aiden.
Yeah, we were out at the bar and it was so funny. This is also irrelevant.
We're really just gabbing today.
I know, but I love it. We were at the bar and Rebecca and Jimmy are both Real Housewives fans or Bravo fans, and they saw a woman, what was her name?
Jennifer Aiden.
Okay, so they saw her sitting at the table with like a bunch of the other cast members. Your reactions were so funny. Like I was filming you because first you guys were like freaking out, and I thought at first it was like someone from your college that like you haven't seen in a while.
Right.
And then you guys were like, I was like, oh, well, who is it? And then you said it was like a famous person. I was like, oh my God. It was funny because I had no idea who they were, but you like definitely did. And it was like kind of interesting to like see it that way because it was like from someone who was like completely unknown and then someone who it's like you're actually a fan. And I'm like, I know I would be like that too.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was so funny because you were like, they were like freaking out. And then I just turn around and Jimmy's like on the phone. You were like pacing at the bar, like on the phone.
I had to call my best friend.
And then Rebecca was making calls. And I was like, me and Aaron were like dying laughing. We were like, who are they calling?
Literally. And you guys would have never known that it was even like any celebrity at all. Because she was very like dressed down too casual.
Yeah.
Like, she wasn't.
But there's so many people that like I would also be doing that and you would have no idea who they were.
Right.
So, but it was just like fun. I was like, wow, like this is so exciting. Like I wish I knew who it was. I want to see someone famous. I've like never seen a famous person. I don't think, okay, maybe I have, but like no one that's like insanely famous other than like sports players at a game.
Right.
Or like a concert, like Taylor Swift concert.
Yeah, like in the wild.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've never seen someone insanely famous in the wild.
No, me either. Really. That I feel like that was like, and that maybe is why it was such a big deal to me.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
Maybe I'll add that to my list. See a famous person. No, just kidding. In the wild. Wait, Callie, this is one of Jimmy's close friends from college and they were roommates. She has the funniest reactions to seeing famous people and she is like a crier and she just cries over everything. We went to the Flyers game and she cried over Gritty, the mascot, because she was scared of him. And then we were at this bar in Philly and there were people from this like really not, or maybe
it was Love Island, but it was before Love Island was like huge in the US.
Okay, that's what I was like. I feel like the reality show was like small. Like it wasn't like a super well-known one. Like, okay, so it was Love Island before it was in the US or before it was big. And she saw these people at the bar and it was like two girls walked in and Callie like saw them walk past us and she's like, oh my God, that was, and like someone else knew who it was too. And Callie started crying. She literally started like actually crying. Yeah. And she's like, wait, I can't believe it. And then they walked past us to leave. I think they weren't like staying at the bar. And Callie's like said something. She was like, oh my God, we love you guys. And they were like, oh, thanks. Like, it was so funny, like seeing her reaction. But anyway, I know I would be doing that too.
Yeah, and she was like oh my God, same. And she was so nervous to even say that. And I was like, Callie, like they're like D-list celebs. Like they would love for you to just like acknowledge, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're nice people. Like just say like, love you on the show or whatever. And that's basically what we did with Jennifer when we saw her too. We asked her if she wanted to take a picture and she's like, yeah, why don't we go outside? There's better lighting. Like she was so nice to us.
That's really cool of her.
And then she left there, Jennifer Aiden, and posted like this. Do you remember on her Instagram story, just like posted like dragging the bar, like restaurant that we were at and how like the food was terrible, the service was horrible, like all of this stuff. But I had no idea based on our interaction. She was very nice.
Yeah, that was so funny. She actually went on her Instagram story and was like walking. We were down the shore and she's like just like walking down the boardwalk, talking to her Instagram story. Like, guys, we just had the worst experience. She was like, I'm not even going to say the name of the restaurant because I know, like, I don't want to ruin their reputation or something like that. But she was like, it was the worst food I've ever had. Worst drinks, worst service. Like, I was like, oh my God, I had the food there. It's very like, I mean, it's not bad. It's not like gourmet, but it's just like, I don't know. I thought it was so funny.
Yeah, it was fine.
I just remembered I did see a celebrity in the wild. It was so funny. I saw Murr from Impractical Jokers.
Love.
Did I ever tell you this? I love that show. It's so funny. But
Same.
It was hilarious because it was at the Post Malone concert. There was a 12 or 13-year-old kid and his mom were in the row behind us while we were waiting for the concert to start. And it was one of those pavilion venues. So there was like a lot of open space and whatever. So he's like, I think it's him. I think it's him. And I kind of like, we're like, oh, who are they talking about? And then the mom was like, do you guys know, is that Murr from Impractical Jokers? And we're like, oh my God, yeah, it totally is. It's so funny. The kid's like, oh my God, Mom, please take my picture with him. And the mom's like, oh no, like I don't want to stand up. Like I was like, oh, well, I'll take your picture with him. Like the guy was so close to us. Like he was like right at the end of our row and we were probably like 10 seats in that weren't filled. They weren't filled seats. And I'm like, oh, I'll take your picture of him. He's like, okay, like, let's go. And he like hands me his phone and we walk to the end of the aisle. But then right when we get there, Murr like walks away. And so he's like walking like all around and we're like following him and the kid's like, come on. And now the kid's like running through this like one area to like have a shortcut to get to Murr. I'm like, oh my God, I'm literally running around this arena trying to get to this celebrity. And we finally get to Murr and the kid's like, oh, can we take a picture? And he said no. He was like,
really?
No, I'm sorry. And I did find that a tiny bit weird, but I think I know why he said no. But because we were running around, then people are starting to look at us running through the arena. Then people all started turning because then we stopped at Murr, who was standing, and then he said something and then everyone's starting to turn like their head and like point at him and like anyway he said no and we were like, oh, okay, like walked away and I was like, oh, in my head I was like, oh, that was kind of odd that he said no to like a little kid. And then as soon as he said no, he turned around and left and went into this like kind of like VIP section. And I think he said no because of like safety and like it would have started like a whole thing.
Right.
Like if he took a picture, everyone would have to take a picture.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe he wasn't even like allowed to leave the VIP thing because of that, but he did to like say hi to someone. I don't know.
I feel like it's always fair if they say no. You have to like respect what they're saying, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's still hard like when it's a little kid, I feel like, you know what I mean?
I know. I was like, oh damn. No, but I definitely see why.
And I saw Jake Shane.
Oh,
I think I told you that in Philly.
Wait, no.
He like had a show in Philly and I did not even.
Jake Shane, Octopus Lover?
Yes.
Oh my God, you didn't tell me this.
I didn't tell you this?
No.
Oh my God, yeah. I was walking to actually go on a first date to get like coffee. It was like pretty early, like maybe like 9:30 in the morning or whatever, just like through Center City. And I'm walking next to this person for like 3 blocks and I didn't realize that it was him. We were like next to each other, you know what I mean? And we're going to the next block then. And I'm like, wait, this person like looks really familiar. And I'm like, holy shit, is this Jake Shane? Like, I think that it's him. And like, I love his
reenactments.
Oh my God.
So
my
funny.
God. They're just like hilarious. Like like a lot of the internet stuff lately to me, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know how people find that funny. Like his stuff, I cry. Like I'd cry laughing at his stuff. And I didn't say anything to him though. Cause again, like, I'm like, I don't know. I don't need to like bother this person, but we like literally walked next to each other for like 8 blocks. And while I was doing it, I'm like, I should see like on his Instagram, like he posts a lot, you know what I mean? Like, is he posting that he's like somewhere else? And he literally posted, he was in like this green, like the Jason Kelsey green tracksuit kind of. And he had posted a picture in it like that morning. So I was like, oh my God, like it really is him. Like he's next to me. And I was like, oh God. But I like didn't. I was like thinking for a second, I was like, oh my God, I should tell him that like he kills me. Like he's so funny. But I didn't say anything. And then I got to the place that I was going and he like, where we were walking wasn't that busy. But then where we were walking to was near like Rittenhouse Square. So like there's always more people down there. And I saw him like kind of like pick up the phone and like he was like, he had the phone to his ear, but like I didn't really hear him talking that much. And then people immediately noticed him. It was like outside of Kafar, which like a lot of people get in line out there to get pastries in the morning. And like these girls were there and he was in Philly for a comedy show, like his own show that night.
Wow.
So these girls were then like, oh my God, Jake Shane, like yelling for him. And he was like, I'm trying to find my parents. Like, I don't know where they are. And like, I do think that he really was. Cause then like after that, you like pretty much hit the park. So like there's nowhere else to go. So then he like turned around and came back and walked by again. So I was like kind of glad cause he like just seemed like overwhelmed. So like, I'm glad that I didn't say anything to him, but I was like, oh, there's another famous. He's pretty famous at this point, I would say, you know, so.
Wow. I saw Alex Earl at a wedding, but
that's cool.
It was like before I really knew who she was. Someone had to tell me who she was. And then I thought it was cool. I was like, oh, wow. But I guess she's famous now.
She's totally famous now, yeah.
Well, she's very famous now. I guess at the time she wasn't like as big. But wait, that must be so sad when like if you were a celebrity and you like were really about to like do something or you had to do something, like you were talking to your parents or something, and then people were asking you for a photo and you're like, I can't. And then they went and they were like, he didn't give me a photo and like whatever. I remember hearing a YouTuber talk about like something like that happened where they were at this event and she like really had to pee and she was like on her way to the bathroom and this guy was like, will you please take a picture with my 3 nephews or nieces and nephew? And she's like, yes, I have to go to the bathroom. I'll do it as soon as I come out. And she like went in the bathroom and then she came out and they were gone. And then she heard people like she saw people posting about how she didn't take a picture, and she was a huge YouTuber at the time and she like she said no to a photo. And I was like, let the girl use the bathroom. Like she's not trying to be mean. Like she told you she would. Like, I don't know.
You can never get mad at that stuff. I feel like it's not fair at all.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, wow. We really talked about goals today in 2025.
We have not.
But I feel like it's fine, you know?
Yeah.
This was better. I think that this episode inspired us.
It did. You heard a lot about our trials and tribulations and random things in life. We'll have that aquamarine party one day.
Everyone's invited.
And we'll reach our goals.
What if when we reach our goal, what if after we run the half marathon, we host an aquamarine themed party and it's like our reward?
Yeah.
Well, you're already running it.
Yeah,
real.
we could do that.
I'm not running it, but
You could.
Well, I could. I'm not signed up for it.
We have 12 weeks.
We'll see. We'll see.
Broad Street.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Easier. 10 miles is easier than 13.1.
For sure. It is.
Barely.
No, it is.
Okay, well, I hope you all achieve your goals. And I hope you liked our get to know you episode that we didn't plan.
Yeah.
I love it. We came so far in this episode. Remember when we were talking about let them theory? That seems like so long ago.
I know. We really covered every topic under the moon today, I feel like.
Under the moon.
Under the moon.
I love it. Okay.
We're going to read more.
We're reading more. Yes. Next episode, we're reading Mel Robbins' book and we're dissecting it.
Yes.
Wait, that was your idea.
Yeah, let's do that.
I feel like I just said it, and then the way you responded was if it was like the best idea you've ever heard.
I thought that we were doing that like just on the couch one night. We should do an episode on it because then that'll really hold us accountable to do it.
Yes, I did think that's what you meant, but either way would be good. But yes.
You're going to hear it here.
Yes, yes.
In about 6 months.
In 2027.
After we could reread every page 3 times to understand what she said.
Exactly. Okay, thank you so much for listening to our episode. We love you, we appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.